Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. I'm Pastor Scott Griswold, and I'm delighted to explore what you and I can do to partner with Jesus to see the three angels' messages go rapidly into all the world. Gold was discovered in California on January 24, 1848. James Marshall found it at Sutter Hill. 300,000 people flooded those beautiful hills. San Francisco boomed from 200 people to 36,000 in just 6 years. And California became the 31st state of the United States of America. A man named Kellogg was watching from the east, Merritt Kellogg. He was the older stepbrother of the famous John Harvey Kellogg. Merritt saw gold in California too, but his gold was people who needed the gospel. If they were saved, they would be treasure in heaven for Jesus. So he headed west on an ox cart with his wife. Merritt wasn't a preacher. No one sent him. He had no salary, but he was a carpenter. Carpenter like his master Jesus. He could build some of those houses springing up in San Francisco. Merritt Kellogg did more than swing a hammer. He shared the gospel with those around him. One day he met B.G. St. John. He was a 49er. No, not a football player. One of the original 49ers who had made and lost a fortune in gold mining. When he learned that he was living right at the end of Earth's history, he decided to get himself ready for the streets of gold. He was the first one to be baptized as a Seventh-day Adventist in California. So gold miner and carpenter teamed up to hold some evangelistic meetings. They got permission to use a room at the courthouse. They preached about the second coming and the Sabbath. And 14 people accepted these truths, and the first Seventh-day Adventist church in California was born. Kellogg and St. John were tent makers. Just like Paul in the Bible. They worked with their hands and didn't receive offerings from anybody. Do you remember what Paul said after he, along with Aquila and Priscilla, had made a bunch of tents? It's in Acts chapter 20, verse 34 to 35. It says, "You yourselves know that these hands have provided for my necessities and for those who were with me. I have shown you in every way by laboring like this that you must support the weak. And remember the words of the Lord Jesus that he said, 'It is more blessed to give than to receive.'" That's what it means to be truly self-supporting. It's just ordinary members serving Jesus at their workplaces and in their spare time. But things got a little busy for Merritt Kellogg. He thought California could use some paid ministers too. So he and St. John gathered some gold and sent it $130 worth to the General Conference. That was a lot in those days. Unfortunately, the GC wrote back that they couldn't spare anyone at that time. Well, the needs were so great, and Merritt felt he just wasn't qualified to help like he should. So he sold his house in California and headed back east to get some medical training. He'd learned about the importance of the healing ministry through Ellen White's writings, and so he enrolled at Dr. Trowell's Medical College in New Jersey. In just a few months, they gave him a diploma as a physician and a surgeon. But before he would head back to the West Coast, he determined to plead with the General Conference for a missionary to California to help him out. 2 evangelists took up the call. Loughborough and Bordeaux headed west. Merritt didn't just sit back and let them do it because they were paid ministers. No, he helped a lot with health talks and medical care. In fact, during a smallpox epidemic, he used water treatments and good healthy eating to help the people. 10 out of 11 that he treated survived, and everybody was really impressed. You see, typically 1 out of 3 would die from smallpox. I really think we're all going to see the incredible value of using natural remedies and healthy living as superbugs and other problems come right here at the end of time. Back to the land of the gold rush. Food was cheap, but renting homes and meeting halls was really expensive in San Francisco. So the work moved northward towards Petaluma, Santa Rosa, and Healdsburg. Soon there were 5 churches. I grew up near there, and I've been to those churches. In the summer of 1877, Merritt was asked to run the new San Francisco Hydrotherapy Center. His pay? Room and board. Next step for this tent maker? He caught the vision to make a health resort in the countryside. Ellen White visited the property that Merritt was looking at and really encouraged him to go for it. That's how what we know today as the St. Helena Hospital near Pacific Union College got its start. The carpenter, doctor, administrator had his hands full, but God wasn't done. In 1893, the church sent him out as a medical missionary to the South Pacific. He rode on the famous Pitcairn to Tahiti, Fiji, and other islands. He settled down in Western Samoa to build a sanitarium just off the beach, and later went on to help establish work in Tonga. What a life! Won't it be fun to see the jewels in Merit's crown that he cast at Jesus' feet someday in the New Jerusalem, along with all those that he reached? So what do you think? Do you want to join the gold rush? Go find some precious metal for Jesus? I don't know what you do to make a living or what you plan to do, but I know that you can use it for God. You can witness to your coworkers and to your customers. You can use your free time to preach or maybe serve soup at a homeless shelter. Those people right around you are your responsibility and privilege. Would you also prayerfully consider going west, off to some frontier, some country that won't let people in on a missionary visa, but would welcome a quality worker in your field? If the love of Jesus and Merrick Kellogg has stirred your heart enough to seriously consider this, I invite you to find out more about it. You can study in Ellen White's writings what it means to be a truly self-supporting missionary through your own career. I encourage you to check out 2 great websites where you'll meet people who are ready to train you and empower you for Tentmaker action. The first is Total Employment by Adventist Mission at the General Conference. You can learn all about it at te.adventistmission.org. The second is Adventist Frontier Missions GoTential. That's at gotential.org. They will help you find that job overseas in a country that desperately needs committed followers of Jesus doing their regular career to the best of their ability and quietly shining for Jesus. What do you say? If we all sow some tents, serve Jesus with whatever's in our hands, we'll surely find heaps of gold, and together we'll reach the world ASAP.